Everybody's always asking us, what's the scariest place you've ever been to? What's the scariest experience? If we've ever seen a ghost or brought one home. Who's your favorite team, the greatest evidence ever captured? What's the favorite technique of ghost hunting? You're about to find out right now, up close and personal with the Booth Brothers.
These folks you've heard about quite a lot, particularly if you're involved in the paranormal, because they've done some terrific productions, some that have scared us, many that have excited us, educated us, told us about some of the things that are experienced out there, and to see that done for us in such a superb fashion, we are extraordinarily thankful for.
People ask us, hey, how do you pick your stories? How do you pick your hauntings? Do they write to you? I think the locations pick us. And we pick an incredible, usually an emotional underdog story of a tragic haunting from a tragic past.
A long time ago, when they decided to build this hospital up here, they were looking for a place that was way out from the city. And at one time, this was out in the middle of nowhere.
And it is probably the most scariest location, next to The Shining, of course, which was great.
The hospital has 4 floors and a partial 5th floor. And the first floor was more or less set up with the x-rays and the administration and the gift shops, the library, stuff like that. But when you got to the 2nd and 3rd floor, that was for the general population, where they stuck as many people in here as they could fit in. And then when you got to the 4th floor, that was for the people who had the money. And if when you go to the 4th floor, you'll notice every room up there has its own private bathroom. Where on the 2nd and 3rd floor, you had a community bathroom in 3 or 4 different places down the hall.
Camera is rolling. Quiet, please.
And
Marker.
hand comes into frame.
What is with you? This is where she died. Who died?
The infamous 502, where unfortunately a nurse discovered that she was pregnant out of wedlock.
She made a mistake. Not pregnant. Killed herself.
She performed self-surgery on herself and unfortunately aborted the illegitimate child, and then
She showed us where they found that baby.
We did find information from the coroner that I believe it was in 1932 that a stillborn baby was found on Page's Lane.
That was the first rumor that I heard. The second version was that she possibly jumped out of one of the windows.
Hey, this is Lace coming at you from Full Moon Tattoo and Horror Convention in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm here with Philip Adrian Booth and Christopher St. Booth, and we're going to ask them some questions that everybody would like to know. So how did you guys get started in the business that you're in?
Well, of course, we made the movie Death Tunnel from Sony, and when we were shooting the film, we had real paranormal activity happen, which, you know, allowed us to create Spooked for Sci-Fi Channel.
Hi, I'm Ariane Fraser, and I'm sitting here with the filmmaking team of Death Tunnel. To my right, this is Christopher St. Booth, Philip Adrian Booth, and we're here to talk about Death Tunnel.
Dave was concerned about carrying disease.
Stop looking at me, I'm not a freak. They were all dying.
When the train come by, all these bodies had come here.
Sanatorium.
We're gonna die.
The nurse jumping out the window.
Face your fears.
He encountered what he said was a girl that was not normal. She kept saying she had no eyes.
The scariest place.
Somebody died, they take them down that tunnel.
Death Tunnel, as you well know, has become a cult classic. We receive hundreds of letters when you're making the sequel to that. It will be hard to match such a great script, so it's taking some time.
Whoa, all this stuff really happened in this place. I mean, really, really happened. Here's a script right here. All the cool stuff with the ghost stories and the people breaking in and all the wild stuff, twistedness that went down there, and said, hey, let's just do the real thing.
They were all dying.
There were people that came from all over the world to come here because it was supposed to be, you know, elite, top-of-the-line hospital as far as tuberculosis.
Underground tunnel to be built for use as body chute?
There were so many people dying at the hospital that
They had this tunnel built right here, and they put that dead wagon in there.
When somebody died, they put them in that and then take them down that tunnel.
What exactly is the Death Tunnel?
the Death Tunnel was is a 500-foot tunnel dug underground to. Originally, we feel it probably was there for supplies to be brought up and keep people warm.
It was used at one point in time to bring supplies up. It was also used for employees to walk up from the bottom of the hill to get up here during the winter months when it was extremely cold and snow was deep. But it did, thirdly, have a purpose of transporting the bodies of deceased TB patients.
The only way out of here is the Death Tunnel.
The 500-foot tunnel, it goes like, about like, I guess it's 100 feet straight and then 500 feet, kind of like a railroad go through it. Yeah. It's like a big tunnel. At the end, you can see the little light, you know, where they used to pick the bodies up at the bottom. They wheeled the bodies down.
We need to find a cure.
It's a lie. There was no cure.
Go on without me.
You're coming with me. We're getting out of here. Now, come on. It's the light at the end of the tunnel.
That Death Tunnel is an amazing place to go. Waverly Hills is an amazing place, and we thank Tina and Charlie for allowing us to have such a great experience there.
5 ghosts.
This movie is really, really interesting because the special effects are amazing. How did you guys get that eerie look and feel of the movie?
We originally have a great experience in special effects, movies and stuff like that, but that kind of went out the window. When you see a ghost and you think back after a while, it changed our way. We decided we would go to a more earthy, more natural look of presenting the ghosts, a more ethereal, a way that they really looked when we saw them. And it's effectively chilling. But at that very moment, it's not what you see as much as what you feel, and that you know that you've never felt like that before, like Chris did.
And I don't know what it was. I felt really ill. It's like something really tragic happened here, like a feeling, a gut feeling.
You're sick.
I'm afraid you're mistaken, my dear. You're the one who's sick.
The first week I was here, it made me feel not very well, like not overwhelmingly sick or anything, but it just had headaches, and I just generally felt just heavy, like burden was laid upon me for some reason.
I saw some strange shadows moving. And I don't know, I can feel things in certain rooms.
It was the following night that we actually got to take the tour, and we went up on the 5th floor, and I was deeply affected by it. I have to say I'm usually very skeptical. I'm the ultimate skeptic, but I'm willing to be, changed in my opinion, and there was something there that really kind of stayed with me even into the next day. I was very unsettled, and I kind of felt just this sadness.
Tori, there's something here. I feel it. What are you talking about? There's something wrong. There's so much pain.
They say this place is haunted. You know, the TB hospital. I heard 63,000 people died here.
I did experience cold chills.
So cold in here.
There were some cold spots. It was very odd because it was extremely hot and humid, and you'd be standing there and all of a sudden it'd be cold, and it wasn't like there was a breeze.
It's humid. What was 102 at one time? When 102 degrees, and all of a sudden, it's like someone opened a freezer right by you and walks right through you, and you're rolling film at that time to the lens like I am to you. First thing you're gonna do is go back and look at your dailies and see what it looks like.
What statement do you feel this movie makes to your audience?
Statements. The movie's full of statements. Just look at the walls. You'll see faces in the walls if you want to look for them. You'll see faces in the smoke. So let the patients make the statements. But the truth of the matter is,
ghosts are real. They are real.
We're filming the sequence where a little girl flashback in the 1930s, and I was walking to the set. Down the long hallway, I saw this blur. Like if I was going to do it justice and describe it, it would be holographic, a little girl in a dress, and then right through a wall. And I didn't know what to say. I saw it, I knew I saw it. One of the security guards came up to me and looked at me and said, "You saw her, didn't you?" And I went, "How do you know?" I said, she goes, "You saw Mary."
When we were shooting Spooked, I mean, we worked for, was 18 hours a day we were working. So when we got back to the hotel, all we wanted to do was go to bed. And then we got there, the guy says, "Well, you the guys who are shooting at Spooked at Waverly, right?" And I go, "Yeah, we are." And he goes, "Did you go to the bone dump?" And I went, "The bone dump? What's the bone dump?" And he actually pulled out a napkin and wrote the map to the special bone dump.
I got back to the hotel room, right? And this guy says to me, we just come from a long day, right? And this guy says to me, he goes, "I got a map to the bone dump."
And I go, "What is the bone dump?" He goes, "The bone dump is a place where all the artifacts and crazy stuff that was in Waverly Hospital in the early 1900s was dumped and buried in the middle of a forest."
On to the dump.
And it still exists there? I mean, no health committee or anything is going to clean up the old needles and everything? It's amazing.
The EPA doesn't have apparently enough money to get rid of it, but actually, so we trucked in there, and we're going to show you some footage. And there's IV bottles, there was actually bottles that still had blood in it. It was surrounded by bones that we were told were animal bones, very large animal bones.
Too bad. This is the worst part right here.
But it had plates, it had bedpans, it had shoes from the 1910, 1920. It was crazy.
You're looking really on the plates. You're actually looking for the WHS logo or the chain.
Unbury it though for the camera. It looks good.
Oh, we're gonna see. Might see a whole bunch of it since there's some other people.
The logos on look. Waverly Hills logo.
Waverly Hills Sanatorium.
I take a photograph too. Oh, where's this dump? Is it close by?
Dump is actually there's dumps periodically all throughout here.
Is there one that's open that you can see?
There's one that can take you all to.
Okay, is it close?
If you gotta keep it down to a minimal, about who knows.
Well, I won't say anything, and we won't. You can't. They won't be able to tell you if we don't. Film
We'd have to walk to it. It's
How
not that
far is it?
About double what we just walked. It's not very far.
This is important stuff that we're capturing. This is stuff we didn't get at all.
But there's a field. Just a field of IV bottles.
You can see that?
I mean, it's like a creek bed where they just kind of threw all these IV bottles. Yes.
Oh, we gotta catch that, dude.
Unless somebody is standing down there picking them all up. There were so many I couldn't even carry them all up in a dump.
Oh, we
truck.
gotta catch that.
There was just so many down there.
We gotta catch that.
I know it's one of the main dumps from the had to be in the 40s, 50s because they started using this real black flash.
So is that? Do we get to that?
I took a bunch of bottles and the beach stuff they went there. They put paintball down through here for a while. Oh, how you like the IV bottle with the glass tube still in it?
There's bones here.
Yeah, there's animal. Animal bones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Animal bones.
This stuff must go all the way down.
It does.
A bedpan. Cool. That is really just gonna take a picture of it.
A metal one. Old IV bottle.
You don't
metal rim top.
You don't think
rubber
any
cork.
human bones here at all?
I have not found any human bones. If we find any human bones, we gotta turn them in. We're gonna find you some good IV bottle to take back with you.
What about the little brown imps?
Brown, little, impy-looking, monster little things in all the photographs.
We've had a lot of cases where we've done tours in the building. People that don't know each other mention the same things. With little short, little characters that just tend to appear and disappear.
The little brown imps. In spirit photography, we found there's all these little imps. I mean, they call them shadow children or children, but it seems there is an ongoing capture of things that are about 3 foot tall with kind of big deformed heads. And that is classified what we felt was an impish looking creature. And in our photography, we caught these, I guess, semi-apparitions. It was not malaying of like matrixing of colors in any way. These were pure, serious images, as we're going to show you. And as we're telling the story, the tour guide actually said there was many, many reports of these little impish creatures.
We're up here, up close and personal. We're here to discuss things on our shows. We aren't even allowed to tell you, or they weren't able to put on cable, or video demand, or they had to be edited out. And we got another lawsuit from the state of Illinois, and it was regarding the unmarked graves.
We went to a cemetery that there were thousands of them in unmarked graves. You know, imagine graves with just hundreds of numbers.
If you've seen the film, you know that they do not have to, they felt legally they do not have to provide the family with the names of who actually are in the graves.
This is so sad.
If your parents aren't dead, they are now, they were told. You have no name, you are a number, and you are an inmate of the orphan asylum. They knew who the names were, they knew who the numbers were assigned to, yet they will not relinquish that identity to their living relatives, which is a real shame. They should be able to have the right to have a name on the marker. The children should have a name on the marker. Every life touches someone, and no life should ever be forgotten, especially the life of a child. Every marker should be changed to a name, not a number. They are not numbers, they are human beings. We were asked to hush-hush about 699 children buried in an unmarked grave. 699 unmarked graves of 699 unwanted children. In a nutshell, if we were just to try to capture that feeling, we had no idea what had happened there, and we went there to film an interview at a cemetery. We had the headphones on and we were doing wireless sound, and all of a sudden, wow! My headphones fell off and I was just in shock. That is probably the most horrific thing that's ever happened to me, because I heard it so close, and I had headphones on and they could hear it vibrating around, but it was inside my head. It was so loud, and it was like a shrilling, shock to me. Oh my God, that was screaming. I just don't think I'll get over that. It felt like a personal message.
What then had happened was, as you were setting up your shot, you were getting a voice level check from her. It sounded like 1,000 people screaming.
Holy fuck.
Oh my God.
Someone talking to us?
I know I'm picking something up. Screaming. People screaming.
And at first we thought, well, it's just interference, but I've never heard any type of interference like that before. And I've done all kinds of sound engineering. This just sounded like I said, like 1,000 people screaming at once.
What was it? These children are calling out to us. An amazing EVP of just these children screaming.
Batteries are full.
Yeah, I do that. I drain.
No, they're full.
Watches.
They're not going dead. They're picking up. His batteries are going dead, and these that pick up the sound are staying on.
Children in mass burial graves. Is there confusion? Is that why they stay earthbound? Their graves aren't even marked. Could this be why some of these children's spirits actually stay and haunt in these particular areas?
He is unwanted, unloved, and will be forgotten.
It was so wonderful to have 2 sold-out shows in the legendary Tivoli Theater in St. Louis. This theater was really old, and it's an incredible theater owned by Joe Edwards down in the Loop of St. Louis. And they said, yeah,
Which is where the actual Exorcist happened.
Yeah, the Exorcist played there back in 1970. And to replay the Haunted Boy there was incredible. To see that marquee with the Haunted Boy, the booth, was such, for filmmakers, it was incredible. And they said to us, we haven't had a line up outside that theater like that since the actual Exorcist had played there.
We invited the whole cast to actually, and the real people that was involved in the Exorcist case. So they were the toughest critics.
Yes, it was an amazing experience to do that.
Yeah, I was totally surprised, totally shocked.
Amazing. Yeah, it was very scary there. I mean, it's just amazing. You know, we know the story, but to actually be in the room.
I am shaking in my shoes.
Very intense.
One day before the film played, we received a lawsuit, a civil complaint, a temporary restraining order, a TRO, freezing the ability to play the film one day before it was advertised to play in the Tivoli Theater. They called this place a senior home, a place full of flowers and children and all this. This was a St. Vincent's Asylum built in 1875.
It was a Section 8 housing.
But the truth of the matter, they actually tried to freeze the film, saying we were damaging the reputation of an establishment. There's over 200 rooms there. Every one has an apartment in it. It's a low-income housing project. Every room has an apartment in it, even the crematorium. But the 5th floor today still remains empty. I wonder why.
And we take you there. We're the only ones who've gone.
Do you both always agree on what projects to take on?
Oh, yes.
No.
Oh. Funny. Wow. What would that... Well, I would say it was the pizza from hell.
Oh, no.
Chris, we got a pizza company to come over, and we ordered 20 pizzas for the Exorcist house. And
you know, Chris goes, did you ever watch The Exorcist? You ever seen that movie? These are those steps. These are that door. This is a room. And the guy goes, no way. Well, you just take a look. This is a riot.
We've got a table set up back here. Thank you.
You're gonna need Chris to sign for it.
I don't want to know. Here's the signature.
Freaking out.
And here's what's happening. What we got here?
We got 10 pieces.
So this is everything?
Yep.
You didn't bring the holy water? You did? We need the holy water. You don't know why, do you? Have you ever seen the movie The Exorcist? Do you remember the girl that was possessed in the house and was on that and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
This is the real house.
Oh, really?
Huh?
Is it really?
Yep. You never heard about the Exorcism in St. Louis?
Right, in St. Louis.
What do you think we're doing here?
Making a movie. Oh, you really?
Well, actually, we're trying to capture the spirit of the boy that was in the possessed bedroom.
Oh, this is so cool.
That kind of creep you out? Spook you out?
We're actually filming a production for Sci-Fi. Oh, okay.
The Sci-Fi channel. So that's why we need a holy water.
So that means that I am on TV now. If you want to be.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that is cool.
Have you ever heard of being in St. Louis about the house that's supposed to be
Yeah, I
there?
did. I didn't really know where or if it was just a myth or something. Or just...
Yeah, this is a real shit, man.
Real story. Oh, really?
It really happened. The room is to the left.
Really? Oh, man.
You want to see it?
Well, go up there and check it out?
It's
We're for real.
It's where the mattress raised up. I mean, the bed levitated. The boy was supposed to be crawling on the wall. I don't see it.
Oh, man.
You see it?
I think I'm fine.
Well, if you would have brought the holy water, we'd be fine.
Well, I believe it.
Sure, you want to take a peek?
Oh, man.
1949.
Well, the lights on the floor.
1949. Is it?
No tricks.
This is it. This is where the bed was supposed to raise up through the whole thing. 1949, we got a diary that told us the whole story. We came down here to go through the whole diary. This is it.
What is that? Feeling anything? I'm just feeling this kind of over this shock. Just overwhelming.
It's pretty trippy. It's really trippy.
I am. Honestly, outside of say delivery man, I've seen a lot of stuff, but nothing like this.
And he didn't even bring the holy water, the big quart of holy water we ordered.
No, we did order that, didn't we? Yeah.
Whoa.
Back.
Okay.
Remember when we were up close and personal?
The funniest experience that I've ever had, or we've ever had, is when we filmed inside this old 1939 airplane, okay, and it was made out of duct tape. I mean, I swear it. And Phil was on the ground filming it, and I had to get into it. And the seat belt was actually a belt, I mean, a pants belt. It was crazy. And we got up in the air, and it was just all rickety, rockety, you know. It's an experimental plane. We flew across all the Mojave Desert. It was absolutely incredible. I mean, of course, once we were up there, didn't want to come down. But going up there, I mean, I was so scared. I mean, so crazy scared. And then while we were up there, the wheel, we were going to land, the wheel wouldn't come down. And then, because Bill, the flight guy who was driving the plane, he was actually from the Wright brothers, Bill Wright, he said, just kick the wheel down, kick the wheel down, kick the wheel down. So I did with my boot. And then when we landed, but I mean, that was, never went in an airplane ever again.
Well, I was pretty scared. I was sitting there on the walkie-talkie filming Chris in the plane. And being the compassionate sod I am, I looked up to him, I gently spoke. Hey, if you don't make it, can I have your Jaguar? No, you know.
Good guy.
What was one of the most rewarding shows you filmed?
That would have to be, I think, for me, it'd have to be Soul Catcher. I mean, we were so blessed that the elders led us on to the reservation. I mean, Chris had called them up, and you had to go through a tribal committee. We had to do the powwow, and the powwow was so fantastic. We sat there, gave us a meal and a blessing, and the sage blessing, and the little children, and the costumes, and the original. This would have happened late 1800s, and they led us there and become part of the tribe.
We wanted them to tell the story. We didn't want to tell the story. Us as the white man did not want to tell the story. We wanted the Native Americans to tell the story. So what we did is get a Native American ghost hunting society, which is pretty cool. And they hooked us up, and we let the elders tell the story.
There are things out here in these buildings, and buildings that are being built now out here, new and old. We have ghosts that occupy even the houses. And there's sightings out here that people see, little kids.
But I'm audibly hearing a child now.
How old?
Not very old. I'm going to say probably around 5. I hear.
Female?
I can't tell. What I'm hearing, like I said, it's almost like laughter, and then I keep hearing a chant. I heard it whenever we was in the gym. No gashi ni taka, no naka hashanena taka, no naka. If this is you, you need to talk to us. Do you not want us here? Start snapping, girls.
There's ghosts out here. There's some probably standing right beside you. You don't even know it.
Michael, is that you? Are you playing games with us?
When you go to these haunted places, get as much research as you can. Don't go in there. I mean, going in there without any research is like going there empty. You don't know who you're talking to, who you're contacting. If you've got a name and you've got some documentation from a historian or a library to back you up, you know what separates fact from myth.
What do you get? See something in the way, okay, you're going to try to demolish it.
Get it out of the way.
Yeah, get it out of the way. Now they figured out they couldn't get rid of us, so now they're going to convert us to white.
We in America have lots of skeletons in our closets, and we need to open those closets, and we need to learn from that so these mistakes can never happen again. We know what happened, but it's happening in the spirit world too. Their names are all buried, they're all being forgotten, they can't live on, they can't be remembered, And that's up to us and paranormal investigators like you to make your mark when you're out there shooting. It's very important you do that.
These little kids and a lot of these people, back in them old days, when they buried them, they didn't embalm them. They put them in the ground fast. They died one day and they buried them that evening. A lot of the little ones passed away from disease. And that's why they didn't know death. Now, they're still wandering out here today. There's a lot of unmarked graves out at our cemetery today. Little dips in the ground, that's the graves out there.
People don't understand human beings. All people with 5 fingers are human beings. If they cut themselves, their blood is red, no matter what color their skin is. They have feelings just like you. When you say something bad to them, it'll hurt them, they'll cry.
Because we are the people. We just need to be accepted.
I think what they had done to Native American people is a crime. It's a crime not just against humanity, but against history and against spiritual awareness in the first place. Cutting their hair, robbing them of their name, their heritage, and then putting them in boarding schools that were actually built on burial grounds. Do you wonder why there's so many lost souls walking around there?
I thought it was awesome.
Me too.
There's things around here. They're with us right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a heat signature. Whatever it was, just moved to that and then moved right back. So whatever it is behind those trees.
What I see was big.
And we were going almost to Aztec. And something come out. It was like a man run across. Hit it with that van. Then went on a little further into a town. We pulled up a little get-go place. Oh, we got out and looked. There was blood dripping down. Like slimy stuff. And it stunk bad. Oh, it stunk. I never smelled anything like that before. We went inside, got something coffee. All the kids used the restroom and went on their way. And we told my brother-in-law up there, Nashville, he said it was a skinwalker that you hit. It's bad through that area right there. They'll just run across. You just hit one. Kind of looked like a big dog, but it looked like a human feature.
Shadow warriors. I mean, where we caught this like, it looked like what was about 6 feet, and it was folded, and suddenly it folded in all, it raised up in full, and it was like 20 feet. And then there was, you can see in the film Imager, the human person, the mortal person, that's the color, and then you can see this tall shadow that comes up. It's an incredible scene. Let's take a look.
This is like our investigation hub, and that's also the area that we get all of our activity from, is this corner area here. And my philosophy on that is because that is so close to the burial. I mean, that's an open area and it's right there, the burial's right there.
Rick wants to know occurrence that has led you to give up drinking?
Yeah, everything. Oh. Actually, I think that we reword that question. It started as drinking, actually. I think these occurrences lead us to drinking, actually.
We've had a lot of people actually say, I jumped at your stuff, I cried at your stuff. And I think the biggest compliment is if you move them and it just doesn't stay flat like that. Oh yeah, oh that was nice. You know, it's sometimes better to be loved or hated, but not just that is nice. And I'm very happy that all the people, you know, and then the music. You know, the music I think is a big part of that. Chris spent a long time composing that music.
Music is also our passion. It's my passion, mostly as well, being, you know, a musician. Phil's a musician as well, and we grew up in the rock and roll business. So I think we adapted the sensitive approach through the music, so it's easy to pick up the sensitive of the paranormal.
The score that Chris brings to the motion pictures that we do, to the docudramas, brings an incredible amount of emotion.
Music has so much passion, and I think that in the underworld, the other world, and the overworld, that's a very important thing, because music makes everything float by. So, I mean, a lot of people don't know this, we actually write the music first and actually cut a lot of the dialogue like a song, and sort of like a poetic documentary to the music, so that's kind of cool.
You listen to the music and immediately want to look at the image. You know, you cannot even be looking at the image, you're drawn up to be drawn into it. As the camera turns like this, you'll hear the music turn like this. Very amazing part. So when we work together, as for the question is, it complements each other quite well, because we're both coming in from different aspects of the industry.
What was some of the best evidence that you've captured?
It'd be Zombie Road, I think, and Children of the Grave, I think.
It was more than just an urban legend, and we wanted to disprove an urban legend, but what we found, and I think Greg agreed with me on it, is that we found probably one of the most haunted roads that you could ever find anywhere.
Why do they call it Zombie Road?
A lot of drug trafficking back in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
I've actually heard people call it Death Road, too.
So many stories about bizarre deaths down here.
Back in the 70s, there was satanic rituals and whatnot.
My friends drive down it because they know it's a mysterious place.
These whole woods are supposed to be like haunted. A bus of kids went back there and they got hit by a train and they all died.
People have been hit on the train tracks a lot. When the kids drowned, what happened was they were swept into the barge. The suicides, a little girl, 5-year-old girl, was hit on the train tracks, the old train tracks, about a mile down the road. People say that they still see her walking up and down the tracks at night.
We were sent a photo, okay, and the photo showed shadow children standing on a hill.
One of the things that led us out to Zombie Road was this picture right here. And if you can see through the trees, through the moonlight, pictures of the bodies, children's shadows, well, they weren't there when the picture was taken. The other night we went there trying to see if we could get this on film, and we did.
there.
There's the one we were looking at.
I see that, yeah.
Now look right here. See a drop down to 40? There.
Yeah, I see that one, side of the tree.
Have you ever had any experiences or seen something that looks like a shadowy person? Or?
Honestly, I thought I had seen them down there, particularly in the area where the 3 youngsters drowned, but you're never quite sure what you see. I suspect that I have seen some down there.
So 6 miles trekking down that road of that gravel at midnight.
6 miles. 6 miles of hard, broken road. Well, we're out in the middle of the woods, okay? There's no one around for miles. And as we're walking through, we finally find this spot.
And you could see a rain river from the rain that made a little river pond in front, and they had no reflection at all. That was really creepy. Of course, we blew it up, Photoshop, and there was no sign of either it's got to be the greatest Photoshop photo or the greatest evidence known to mankind. But they couldn't get kids up there because it was too steep of a hill to set the shot up, and there was no photo shop evidence at all, no blurs, no things at all in any way. So we're in there to catch these shadows, and of course it's black of night. Keith brings all his artillery.
We're shooting it with thermal. We've had a little bit of luck with thermal tonight, but so far we're getting nothing on this.
It was about averaging 51 degrees.
And 51 degrees was the ambient temperature all the way around us, and it was steadily dropping. It was getting colder for the night.
19, 18, 20. What the hell?
And all we saw was black mass coming towards us.
We have a black mass coming towards us, pretty big right now.
Yeah, we sure do.
Really, really big. You see it?
Yeah, I see it. I got it in my night vision.
It's a black mass and it's on the fucking ground.
And then it's going up again, see it's moving.
Yeah, it's very cold.
I'm in this one little spot right there. See it? Temperature, see how much colder that one little spot is?
Cross there?
Yeah.
I'm zooming in.
See how much? Whoa.
What people don't really know is that they're actually not shadows. They're actually cold mass, because the situation is a thermal image does not capture a shadow. It either captures hot or cold or heat-related items. So when you see a shadow figure on a thermal imager, or even possibly an IR camera, it's not really a shadow. It's really a cold mass, a cold spot.
Whoa, that's gone. As we hit this one area, like I was telling you with the thermal's got a temperature gauge on it. I'm sitting there looking at it, it's saying 51 degrees, and as I'm panning around, he's filming it with the camera, and I'm filming it with this. And all of a sudden, these black images start showing up. Oh, Chris!
Oh my God!
Get in. That away. Who are the people?
I see them now. They're all over the fucking place.
It's like the picture.
It was pretty incredible. I mean, there's a lot of mayhem. Everybody started freaking out, and everybody was running around, and everybody was, some was scared, some were like trying to run over there. And I just did what a good filmmaker does. I just kept rolling.
When you put the thermal cam up, you can see it. Drop the thermal cam down, look at your right eyes. Nothing. There's nothing there. These are screen image captures that the Booth brothers sent us from the actual film. All right, so that's showing these little black images inside the trees.
This is really unexplainable. I've taken a lot of pictures personally with the ISG camera. We've never had anything like this occur before.
I think the saddest part was when the children appeared. One after another they appeared, and everybody freaked out. There was about 30 people there in the crew.
Military too.
Crew.
We had Marines in the crew.
Bodyguards. And everybody started freaking out, oh my God, look, look, look. And I looked and I kind of caught myself wandering off. And I just felt it sad. And I kept thinking of my daughter, Heather, who was having heart murmurs at the time and was going into the hospital to have them all checked out. And I was on the road and I couldn't be with her, and I was very sad. And she said, Dad, say hi to the children. And so I did that. I looked out there and I said, Heather says hi. And it kind of took the edge off the scare for me. It was just like looking at lost souls, lost children. It's a very heartwarming story. When Leela gets that doll back at the end of the show, and she's holding that.
She's the oldest surviving.
95 years old.
Orphan.
At 7 years old, she had that doll ripped from her grasping arms and thrown in the fire in front of her. You don't need those things anymore. You're grown up. When you grow up really fast when you're in those orphanages, you know. But to receive it back after all that time, a Raggedy Ann doll, well, you can see how emotional that was for all of us.
So all of these years, she's always been so upset about this Raggedy Ann doll.
It scares me, but they need help.
This put them closer to becoming children of the grave.
It's okay. Everything is okay. Go to the light. Cross over. It's disheartening for me only because I am a mother. And being a mother, you attach yourself to children and they attach themselves to you. So it makes it difficult to sometimes do what we do.
They actually go straight for Lori just because of the motherly instincts, and the rest of us aren't anything, and Lori just has the extreme sorrow that comes with it.
But with all due respect, we all love children, but there are evil children.
There are.
And within a few days, Lorancy Venom, or Lorancy under the power of Mary Roth, had convinced the Roth family that she was indeed their dead daughter.
The Possessed, the true story of the Watseka Wonder, which is actually a story that's done in 1877 about an 18-year-old girl, and it's the first story of reincarnation or possession ever ever written, which is a spiritual journal.
She didn't want to talk about it and didn't want to be reminded of what had happened, is what we were told.
It's one of the most unusual cases on record, spirit possession. Now, 3/4 of the world's population believes in reincarnation. But the prevailing view is you die, and then you come back into another life as an infant. Here we have a case where a dead person stepped into the body of a young girl.
This is written in a pamphlet called The Watseka Wonder. It was written by Dr. E.W. Stevens, who was a first-hand witness to the latter half of the story.
Lurancy Venom had never been sick a day in her life, lying as if dead. She spoke freely, telling the family what persons and spirits she could see. Among those mentioned were her brother that had died when Lurancy was but 3 years old.
This was actually admitted, or submitted, I should say, to the Dalai Lama as a case of reincarnation versus possession. An amazing story, because when Lurancy was possessed by Mary, she would sit on the edge of the bed. And this isn't in the show, and this is why this is so good to be so up close and personal. She would ask him, how's little Billy and June? And he'd say, what are you talking about? And he says, that was Dr. Stevens' twins that died at childbirth.
And she knew that.
Nobody knew that. Dr. Stevens never told anybody about that. They almost died the minute they were delivered. While they were being delivered, they both died. She knew that. He broke down into tears.
He had seances because the Roth family were serious mediums, the spiritualists. Maybe too much, actually, judging by the evidence we got out of there. We got a lot of EVPs.
At the Venom house, we picked up growling, we picked up heavy breathing. I mean, just incredible pain. I mean, incredible pain feeling. I mean, there were, let me go, let me die. I mean, very disturbing EVPs.
Incredible EVPs. And then we also went to some of the hospitals that were known for possession treatment. When you were possessed, or when you had all kinds of things wrong with you back in that day, they put you in this asylum. So what we did is we went in there and we caught an incredible capture of a shadow boy. This is it. Check this out.
After reviewing what we captured on the thermal, it looks like a small child. Look at the eyes.
Okay, shh. Please. That would be cool. This is really cool. So, the little black thing with a head and shit?
Uh-huh.
So, what is down there that would do that?
We light it up?
Well, we'll see if it moves first. You see it, Scott? What does it look like to you? Don't mind the people in the back.
I look like somebody. Oh, see it turning?
Doesn't look big. It looks like somebody's sitting down. But it's got a head and a body. You don't know it, you see that?
Uh-huh.
It's actually moving.
Growing. Here, let's slide it up, see what it is.
Whoa.
Keith brought his thermal imager down, and we locked onto it, and there we saw was this entity, this dark shadow in the hallway.
I thought you were an unbeliever, man.
We're gonna walk up to it?
Yeah, walk up to it. What do you see?
Phil actually walked up to it and he touched it. There was nothing there. We had 2 cameras rolling. I mean, it was creepy. I mean, it was like some kind of small creature with this childlike thing.
Right there in front of you, man. This thing is small enough to where it looks like it's just the right size, right at the level of the windowsill, which would make it just a little bit over 3 foot tall. I can't tell if it's a boy or girl, but at least it's something there that we can't explain what it is.
It's definitely exactly what I see.
Exactly?
I mean, it's dead on and it's staying there.
Yeah, I'm filming the thermal images, you see.
The way that the body's just shaped and the way that it, it just flows there is exactly what I see.
And I think one of the most touching things is 30 years later, Mary returned to possess Lurency's body, to take away the pain of childbirth. She possessed her through the time she delivered her child, and it was a girl, and Lurency named her brand new daughter, Mary.
I think the saddest part of the story is that the mother, when she had been possessed of the spirit of Mary Roth, she actually ended up living with the family of the one that had died previously. And the family accepted her as being her daughter again. So actually, the other girl's family, Lurency's family, lost their daughter, and Mary Roth's family gained their daughter back again. And the most tragic thing is, the worst thing is when they had to watch their daughter die once. She eventually did leave again, and they had to watch her die twice.
I think something we like to reiterate here, we usually do in our seminars, and please come out and see us at the shows. We're on tour right now, or check www.spooktv.com and see where we are, because we're coming to all the states. Let's not exploit our ghosts. Let's not provoke our ghosts. They've had enough misery in life. They don't need any more in death. Sit down and cry with them. We're all empathic, especially women. They have children, their mothers, etc. But a real man doesn't have a problem feeling that pain. We don't have to prove we're tough. Go down there and cry with them. Have a beer. Light up a smoke, unless it's a TB hospital, and then they'll get that EVP like this one. And be a friend. Hey, I'm here to tell you a story. I'm passionate about this. They know. I will tell you a story. Tell me what's going on. I am your voice, please. And I think we'll get something, but no more paranormal bullying. That's not. There is no competition here. It's a blessing to capture a ghost. It's a gift to see a ghost. It's not a trophy. It's not a reward. It doesn't make you any cooler. It just makes you have a gifted experience. To see something supernatural is something that helps us believe that there's something beyond death. We forget that in this business. We truly forget that. We think it's about the gadgets. We think it's about the cool shirts, the cool logos, or being on television. It isn't. It's about communicating with something beyond death. That's what is important, and that's our message. And again, we said this before, if you want to see the greatest gizmo gadget in the paranormal field today, you guys ready? It's this. It's right here. Use your heart, ask your soul. You have to treat them with compassion. It's very important that you enter the whole concept with the feeling of compassion, because you're going to feel that as much as they'll feel scared of you. You have to make them feel comfortable with you, and then they will communicate with you. Because it's not seeing is believing, it's believing is seeing. And that's really important. Well, I hope you really enjoyed up close and personal with the Booth Brothers. We want to thank our Facebook fans and our friends and the people who write to us, the people we get to meet. I shake your hand, our children and my lovely wife Ivana, all the wonderful teams we've worked with. So many to name. You know who you are. We love you all. Keep it real.
Thank you for everything. Cheers.